Latina Voices is proudly sponsored by United Airlines, the official airline of Latina Voices Smart Talk. Goya Foods. When it's Goya, it's got to be good. And Fiesta Mart, serving you since 1972.
And I am falling in a great big wave for you.
This time on Latina Voices Smart Talk, she's called Little Aretha. Yvonne Washington is a Grammy-winning and best jazz and R&B singer around, and she joins us in the studio. Also joining us are Latinas Exitosas and multi-McDonald's franchise owners Nelly Quijano and her daughter Maricel, here to tell us what it takes to join a mega corporation and sustain a business in this economy. A show about universal topics with a Latina point of view.
Latina Voices Smart.
Hello again, I'm Minerva Perez with co-host Texas super lawyer Sofia Adrogué, and our guest host today, former Telemundo anchor and entrepreneur Claudia Deschamps. Welcome to Latina Voices.
Thank you. We're happy to have you.
Thank you very much. Well, ladies, we are a show about universal topics from a Latina perspective. Let's start with some smart talk, shall we? And I know you're reading. You're always reading.
I'm always reading. But you know what? This book, How Children Succeed, Grit, Curiosity, and the Hidden Power of Character. Why did I pick it for the show?
Because you've got kids.
No, yes, but beyond that. Because these women that we're about to interview, who more epitomizes character and survival and success and what it takes, how you build character, how to think, and how to make it. So quite frankly, the book is amazing. I want to discuss it further, but for now, it is 2012, the book that people are talking about, because it's a little bit of the blessing of the skin knee. How do we build character?
Out of a little scrape. And you have children, and I have children.
And I know I'm not alone when I talk about the challenges that our children are facing right now. I think I'm not alone when I say that there are many mothers out there that are very proud of raising their children bilingual. We have an all Spanish policy at home. Yes. And now that my child is going through kindergarten and he's facing certain challenges, I'm happy about the fact that he's bilingual.
Habla español.
Todo el tiempo en la casa, but then at the same time, I wonder if it's hurting him academically because all the concepts he's learned in Spanish,
which are different from English.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, I'm facing that challenge, but I'm so very happy that there are books out there that are enlightening parents.
Could this help her?
Yeah, perhaps, but I think big picture, I bet you this author would say you're absolutely instilling a little extra push, a little extra adversity, that at the end of the day, you're going to have a truly bilingual, bicultural child who's going to have character and more.
And I hope so. I hope that's the case. It's
absolutely.
Just, you know what? It's just that right this minute we are going through could something else be wrong? Maybe he's too young. Maybe he's not ready. Is it physiological?
Right.
Is it
cultural?
So exactly. So because I'm in the heat of the moment, I know that eventually it's going to make him a better rounded individual. But again, I know I'm not alone in facing these challenges.
We all have those challenges, believe me. Well, we'll talk about it later, okay? But we're going to be talking to some fantastic women, and we'll be back with more in a moment.
When I see them bloom for me and for you, then I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Nicknamed Miss Texas Little Aretha, she's considered one of the top female vocalists of today. Jazz and blues singer Yvonne Washington has opened and/or closed for Stevie Wonder, The Temptations, Kool and the Gang, and the legendary Little Richard. Our very own Southeast Texas diva, with her powerful yet mellow voice, always delivers with heart.
Yvonne sings all over the world and recently recorded a tribute to the late, great Billie Holiday entitled, what else? Holiday. I've heard it, and wow.
And she's got another.
Yeah. Let's start from the beginning. Tell us, first of all, how did you get started?
Well, I was in San Antonio, Texas, a little girl growing up, very adventurous, and I would go to San Saba, Texas to see Big Mama for the holidays. And I was invited to sing at a rodeo, my first professional gig.
Oh my gosh.
And I did.
How old?
5 years old. They had me in an Annie Oakley outfit, and I had my guns in my holster, and I was ready for performing. And after all of the applause and the claps, Lil Yvonne never got over it, and I've been doing it ever since.
You have said time and time again that music has been good to you.
Yes, ma'am.
How?
It's a healer. I remember a couple of times I had a little sick thing, and the doctor said, "You know what you're doing, don't you? Yvonne, you're healing yourself with that music." So now when I feel a little ache and pain, I just put my hands over my chest, and I start singing. I said, "Get better, girlfriend."
So how many years have you been singing?
Since I was 5 years old.
Altogether, so that's
And she's not saying how long that's been.
What's been your biggest satisfaction, I wonder?
Making people happy. Seeing the smiles on their face or the tears. When, I hate to say this, love to do funerals, but it's my pleasure because someone that lives a beautiful life should be sent off with a great tribute. I like to do that. It makes me, because I don't want to make it sad. I want them to remember the good parts of that person. So I did Mr. Mosbacher's funeral, and it was awesome.
I bet it was.
But in terms of you like to make other people happy,
Yes.
there's all this background study on happiness. And in order to do that, you personally have to be happy. And the reason why I'm so inspired by you, it's just your presence. It's your survival. You really have longevity, and you make people happy, and it heals you, but you also put 2 girls through school. I mean, you really have created a life, not just for you, but your family and others. Tell us about that.
Well, my oldest daughter, she's a professor now at Prairie View A&M, and my youngest daughter, she has her master's and she's teaching in HISD. And they always tell me, "Mom, you built your business." I said, "Who? You? Mom, you have people working for you. You do real good." I said, "Well, thank you, daughters." And I have a friend that owns Office Innovation, office furniture, and she said, "Yvonne, you have educated your kids with your singing." And I said, "I guess I did pay for tuition, didn't I?" But it is just wonderful to see them thrive and grow up and give me kudos.
Yeah, I bet. And I like the story that you tell about seeing Elvis for the first time. Was he an influence on you?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me
He
how.
had so much soul. I didn't know what soul was an in then. It came around the 60s.
Yeah.
So, but Elvis, I saw him in the 50s. And that first movie I went to see in Technicolor, I'll tell my age in a minute. But it was awesome at the Majestic Theater in San Antonio, Texas.
Of that theater.
And it was so beautiful. It helped, when you have a big imagination, you imagine you're living in all of those little rooms with the lights coming out.
Sure.
But Elvis was so beautiful, and the color was something, and then the next movie I saw was Moses, so I didn't get over it.
But he influenced your singing?
Oh yeah, they had one picture in the paper of Elvis with him peeping in a juke joint, and he was a teenager. He knew where to go get that soul from. And he wasn't allowed to go to the clubs, he was too young, but he heard the rhythms, and I remember Thomas Melanson did a play one time, The Rhythm of Life. Life is just all kinds of rhythm. And when Sammy Davis did taps, the beats, music is something else. I'm so grateful to God that I know about it.
Oh, wow.
Well, and can do it. Some
you.
of us may know about it, but that doesn't help us much. Claudia, I know you're ready to ask her a question.
Well, no, and I just wonder, I think that many little girls want to sing. I have an 8-year-old, and she asked me the other day whether I would be mad if she's not a veterinarian, if she's a rock singer. And I just laughed.
Star.
But there's gotta be a point where you do have to make the choice. Is this what I want to do for a living? Is this how I want to make a living? When did that moment start for you?
At 5?
I believe so. I would see comedians on TV, and that interested me. And then this Mr. Rich would imitate people, and he could sound like other people. And I loved to entertain my family because it would, as the old folks would say, take away the miseries. And my grandmother was sick a lot, and if I could make her laugh, it made me feel good. And now I see my grandson do it. And he wants to make me laugh, and that's so wonderful, Madison. And I have a new granddaughter, and I was singing to her. She's 5 months old. And I started singing this blues, rock me baby. And that baby was 3 months and she started chuckling. I said, girl, you act like you're in a beer joint. Oh my goodness. She was sure. But you know what you can tell her? She can be a singing veterinarian. She can do both. She can do both.
You know, it could be. Because that's a great idea because it's not an easy life.
No, it's not.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. I'm sure there's been bumps in the road. Have you gone through bumps where you,
Wanted to give it up?
rethought about the idea? Maybe this wasn't a good choice, or.
Well, I did.
And what made you?
When I was in college in Austin at Houston Tillerson, in the 60s, then I said, I don't want to sing in little dumps and dives. I'm married now, and I want to be home with my husband. So I stopped. There were no country clubs, and I couldn't do it in those days. So I stayed home until my husband was in the Phillips explosion, the big one. And he was in, and I had to get out for a little while because it was at home every day, and they were calling each other. And I said, you know what, I need to sing again. And there were clubs and nice restaurants then. So I started back and landed a wonderful job at Brennan's Restaurant. A little lady named Courtney Elias just volunteered me to sing. You're gonna do it, because I need your energy. I said, Courtney, I don't know how to sing jazzy, bluesy New Orleans. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. But I did it. And I learned so much, and I got to meet so many wonderful people. See, that's the thing.
How many albums now?
I have 2 albums, but I'm on 15 different people's albums. I did the soundtrack for Richard Gere's movie, Autumn in New York. Now that was magical.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
he a cutie or what?
Woo, yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. That is one. I'll bet. He still is.
Oh, yes,
Still
ma'am.
is today.
Yes, ma'am.
What is next for you?
Keep singing. I got to go to China for the Port Authority. That made me feel real good to know that I could represent Houston.
Oh, wow.
And people were following us around, and they said, "Oh, that lady must be affluent," because I didn't know why they were staring. And they said, "Is she Patti LaBelle? Is she a movie star?" I said, "No, just this big mouth singer from Houston, Texas."
Well, you've done so well.
Thank
and we're
you,
so
sweetheart.
proud to have you and to know you. And getting to know you through this show has just been amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, and your
pleasure.
recipe for
being with
success, it's all about connecting people through music, and you do it absolutely immaculately.
Thank you, girl.
Thank
Absolutely.
you so much. Thank you.
More of Latina Voices coming up next.
She is the owner and operator of 20, count them, 20 McDonald's restaurant franchises. Now Nelly Quijano, with the help of her daughter, Maricel, are working the family business with award-winning zeal.
Nelly and Maricel Quijano strive for excellence and achieve it. Their management style and story of tenacity and perseverance have brought them countless recognitions, including the most coveted McDonald's Corporation Ronald McDonald's Award, clearly the most prestigious accolade given by the company. Among other entrepreneurial standouts, the Quijanos developed, yes, the breakfast burrito, one of McDonald's most successful product launches in years.
And that is why they are our Latinas exitosas, or successful Latinas, in our show today. Ladies, congratulations. Welcome, first of all, and that's just one more title to a long list of achievements.
Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, now you have done so much since coming here from New York City. You came from Cuba,
Right.
On the Peter Pan. What did they call it? Flights.
Right.
And you have just grown and thrived, especially when you came to Houston. Let's start in Houston.
Oh, you want to start in
Yeah.
Houston? Okay. We came to Houston in 1984, my husband and I and my 2 children. And we opened our first McDonald's on Wayside in Harrisburg, right in the heart of Magnolia. And it's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful ride since we got here.
Okay, although she wanted to start in Houston, I need a little bit of that Cuban immigration story. Come on, just give us a little bit of something. You came to the United States. What was the Peter Pan? Tell us a little something for the audience, and then why McDonald's?
Okay, the Peter Pan flights were, the program, I should say, was put together with the Catholic Charities and the State Department. And they flew about 18,000 children between the ages of 2 and 18 in 2 years, from 1960 to 1962. And I was just approached by my mother one day, and she said, "You're going to the United States in 2 weeks." And I go, "To the United States in 2 weeks? Why?" "Well, your father doesn't want you to stay here and become part of this government." So I quickly found out that I was just leaving my country. The only hope then was that I thought I would see them in those years. We thought we were going to go back to Cuba real quick, and that has not been the case.
How old were you?
I was 15.
Wow. And how old were you when you then saw your parents for the first time?
21.
21.
6 years
That's
apart.
a lot of years without your parents.
21.
That must
And they
have been a
didn't have
struggle.
cell phones and internet back then.
No,
we weren't
absolutely
in
not.
constant communication.
Right. No, we were
They
not.
weren't texting you.
No.
It was
And
just
hard-
about survival.
It was hard to even get a call through.
Of course.
In those years, you could wait for a telephone call to Cuba for a whole week
Of
before you
course.
could get it.
Of course.
Yeah.
So why McDonald's?
Well, I worked at a bank when I was young. I was trying to get the job that I really, really liked. And from the bank, my husband started a knitting mill in 1971. We didn't manufacture garments, we manufactured fabrics. So we were in that business from 71 to 82, and I never liked it because I like to have the interaction with the public, and I was sitting in an office and doing telephone calls and so forth. So finally, due to a disastrous fire in 82,
It burned down.
It burned to the ground. So when it burned, my husband says, "We'll rebuild." I said, "No, we won't. We're going to go and find out what's going on with McDonald's." He says, "I don't want a partner that has more money than I have." That was the answer I got then. Well, anyway, we went for an interview. He loved it. We filled out the paperwork in California with a friend of mine that we had gone on vacation right after the fire, and they transferred all our paperwork to New York. We got a second interview 2 months later, and the McDonald's culture is absolutely great.
And now your daughter is part of that
My
culture.
daughter, yes.
So let's talk to Maricel.
I grew up in McDonald's. I was 12 when we got here, so been working ever since. I knew McDonald's was what I wanted to do, always. And my parents said, "That's fine, but you need to get your college education, and then, the rest is up to you." So I graduated from the University of Houston with an accounting degree, and here I am.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
And how many McDonald's do you have now?
20.
Own and
20.
operate.
Wow.
20.
Started with 1 and grew to 20.
Yes.
How many people do you employ?
1,100. And that's our extended family. That's how we see them.
Now, you talked about the McDonald's culture, but I think as owners and operators, you also apply your own culture. What do you like to instill in your employees?
For me, number one is excellence. We strive for excellence in everything we do. We have a great organization, a great structure. We have a director of operations, 4 supervisors. Each restaurant has a manager and assistants and swing managers. So the structure is great, but we strive for excellence. That's what we do when we get there every day.
I want to know how you started the breakfast burrito company-wide. I mean, you started it here, and now it is spread throughout the country. Everybody likes the breakfast burritos. Tell us how that happened.
Well, my husband and I are both Cubans.
Yes.
So we moved to Texas, and we were not familiar with the hot sauce and the jalapenos. We were not into that. And the first weekend when we first opened, my husband, they started asking for hot sauce for the eggs. We really didn't understand it, but he says to me, "I'll be right back." Got some hot sauce. And then he said to me, "I cannot believe that McDonald's doesn't have a regional product that appeals to the Hispanic consumer in Houston."
Yeah.
So he went to the regional vice president, asked for permission to start testing it. We started with the ladies in the kitchen, which, by the way, they're still with us 28 years later.
That's
My goodness.
fabulous.
That goes to our
That's a
extended-
testament.
It is a testament. And we started cooking it with her and going out in the dining room.
Taste testing. What do you guys think?
The customers were proud of it.
Of course.
Because do this, a little bit of this, a little less of that. So that's how we've been all about in McDonald's. Kind of followed our our sales figures for 4 years.
Of course.
They came down. We worked menu management. It took a while, but 4 years later it was launched.
They're selling breakfast burritos in Wisconsin, right?
Everywhere.
That is amazing. And how have you played a part in this thriving business?
Well, we work very well together.
Luckily.
We all, when my dad was here, certainly, we all kind of did different areas, but it's just teamwork. And we have a great organization and great people.
It's teamwork, but you've also won so many recognitions within McDonald's. And I love the titles. One for persistence, rising star, very obvious. But probably my favorite, other than making a difference, is the street fighter. So you have a little bit of everything in you, right? You have to be able to know how to survive, how to be hungry enough to make it. But then...
What's the key? Yeah, what's the key to something like that?
Absolutely.
It's really it's persistence and getting out in the community and really giving back to them everything they give you every day.
What do you say to other Latinas who are out there trying to start their own business, perhaps their own restaurant, in terms of what would be the 3 things that you would recommend looking back that are going to make them successful?
Number 1, don't give up.
Okay.
You can do it. Set your goals and run with them.
Number 2?
Set your goals.
I think I gave you all of them together.
Number 1, set your goals and go with them. She was fast and furious. That's why she have 1,000 employees.
No kidding.
You cannot be
1,100.
slow, me now.
Thank you
Over
so
1,000.
much. Thank you so
I
much
said
for
over
being
1,000.
here.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more Latina Voices. Don't go away.
We're back with more Smart Times, a segment in which we usually feature our iReports from students, journalism of the 21st century kind.
But today, we continue our discussion with Smart Talk and some truly dynamic women. We've been talking to you about the 3 things that were key to your success doing McDonald's franchising. Let's go through those again.
Never give up, set your goals, and run with them.
Absolutely. And you
Persistence
guys
is the
have
main
run
thing.
with them.
Truly.
What's amazing to me is just in terms of how many people you employ and how many people you have an opportunity to really make a true difference, not only for them, but then for the next generation. What is it that you can do as an employer to then give someone else the dream that you work like a fiend, but you did it? How do you then do this for the next generation, for your employees?
Well, we always tell them it doesn't matter what the hardships are on a day-to-day basis. You never give up. You need to continue to pursuing your dream. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't come to you on its own. You have to go get it. And that is the main message we give to them all the time.
What do you think is the big, it's holding the new generations back? Because there's a lot of talk about how the new generations, because of technology, smartphones, and they don't know how to problem solve. Is that something that you're finding? And how do you still instill in them the perseverance to chase their dreams?
We keep talking about the millennials. And we know that how the new millennials are. We had to go get and pursue what we wanted. Today, they feel that they're entitled to it. So we need to teach them the difference. That is not coming their way on its own. That they need to get it. And that's the way I feel about it.
And they're the now generation. They want it now.
Yeah.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, instant. They're used to everything now.
There's a very famous saying which goes, you are as good as you recruit. And the fact that you started with 1 restaurant and now you have 20, you've known how to recruit. What do you look for when you hire?
We are looking for excellent qualities, we always teach our managers, when you sit with a person, you have to carry a conversation. That conversation tells you the person that you're talking about too. And it will give you an idea of what you're going to have to be dealing in the future. If you don't carry a long conversation and you find out what their likes and dislikes are, you won't be able to do a smart hiring.
And in this business, you have to be a people person.
Right.
So you have to be able to be customer focused and do everything you can for that experience.
Now, how
for the
many stores
customer.
do you run?
Well, we have 20 together.
Together, okay. So you don't run 5 and she runs the restaurant.
Maricel, what do you look for? And then the kind of person that you know will ultimately be one of your future managers, what are some of the qualities that you see?
That dedicated employee that, you know, is always there, is always wanting to learn more things and can really develop the responsibility to lead the team. Because, you know, a restaurant can have 75 people.
Right.
So they have to be able to be a leader and really shine.
Now, you're from Cuba.
Yes.
And I've been to Cuba, and I've been to your hometown of La Havana. Do you ever plan to go back?
I would like to go. I think it's going to become a lot easier now. I see that somehow something is going to happen. Some changes have taken place already.
They have.
But I think in the near future, and not very long, we will be able to go back.
It's still your home country.
Oh, yes, yes.
You still feel
Connected?
Oh, yes.
Connection.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I want to go back with my mom to see where she grew up, where she went to school, and, you know, all those memories that she had as a child.
Now, you said something that is very true. Business is social. Business is about human relationships. How do you become, I mean, because 1,200 employees, it's a lot of employees. How do you become accessible to them?
We visit the restaurants. Of course, we can't visit them every day.
Of course.
But we kind of make a pattern, like we get to them as often as we can. And we're on a first name basis. We know all of our employees on first name basis. They don't call me Mrs. Quijano. They call me Nelly. They call her Maricel. So it's a family. And what I like the most is when I get a phone call at my office, have you got 5 minutes for me? And we never say no.
Open
And we
door.
It
celebrate
doesn't matter,
with them.
open door.
You know, we attend weddings. We
That's
help them
wonderful.
through
Your
family
family. They're all
tragedies.
family.
And,
And we wish you the best. And thank you for being here
And
with
thank you.
Latina
Latina
Voice.
Exitosas. Thank you so much.
Another title.
We're very appreciative.
Thank you, ladies. And we'll be right back. Don't go away.
We'd like to thank you for joining us on Latina Voices.
We'll be back next time with more interesting topics that matter to all of us.
So for Latina Voices Smart Talk, I'm Minerva Perez. Don't forget to join us on Facebook.com/Latina Voices. And of course, go to our website, LatinaVoices.com. Until next time, stay smart.
Latina Voices is proudly sponsored by United Airlines, the official airline of Latina Voices Smart Talk. Goya Foods. When it's Goya, it's got to be good. And Fiesta Mart, serving you since 1972.